Mike Brown is no stranger to Scottsdale, Arizona. Over the past week, the Husker Roverback has practiced at the community college in his hometown of Scottsdale. Brown did not expect to play his final college game right at home.
It's kind of eerie. It's kind of strange. It's something that, coming into the season, I had no idea that this could play out like this, where, I could possibly play in Arizona my last game. So, I mean, it's like I said, it's something that's going to be real special for me.
Even though Brown has not ended his college career in the national championship game, he still finds the Fiesta Bowl game with Tennessee a perfect matchup between the last two national champions.
They've said, the reason why they won the national championship is because they found out what it takes to win, because of the style of play that we played, So, I mean, that was respect from us, but, they won the national championship and, the year after we did, so it's kind of like a battle between the two teams, again, national championship teams, and we get to meet up again, and, they have theirs and we have ours, and now we get to see who's really, the better team. And
Brown expects to be chasing Tennessee's T. Martin most of the night. The Tennessee quarterback loves to mix it up for the Volunteers by running and passing the ball.
T. Martin has the ability to get out of the pocket, and that's always scary as a defense because, that means they're playing with 11 guys. Usually they're only playing with 10 because the quarterback, just throws the ball, can't get out of the pocket. But when you have a player of his caliber that can get out of the pocket, he can create a lot of things, and that can be difficult to defend.
Brown is known for coming up with the big play, whether it's forcing a fumble or making an interception. The All-American defensive back needs to force a turnover tonight against the Tennessee offense.
They're a team that I think, they're a physical team. They like to run the ball a lot and then get you on some play action, get you on the deep ball here and there. But, they really want to control the ball and just pound it at you and really take control of the game. And I think that you're going to see a real physical game.
After starting 36 games in a row at Nebraska, Brown will close out his spectacular career as one of the best tacklers ever to wear a Husker black shirt. This is one game Brown plans to go out a winner.
Oh, yeah, I want it real bad. This is my last college game. And, I never thought this day would come. These 4 years have gone by extremely fast, real fast. And I know I'm going to be real emotional in that game. I'm going to be real intense. Probably the most intense I've ever been just because of the situation. But, I want to win bad. I always want to win. That's the main reason why I came to Nebraska, because I knew every year I'd have a shot to win a lot of games. And that's just part of my nature. I'm very competitive. And, anything I do, I'm pretty much competitive and heated all the time. So I'm looking forward to it, and I really want to win bad. I'm going to do everything possible to get this victory.
Ross Sternstrom, Channel 6 Sports.
Thanks a lot, Rossi. We have established contact with Dave Weber. Dave, we thought we lost you in the ozone somewhere, but you're back, and I'm glad to hand the controls back to you in Tempe, Arizona.
Merlin, it was not Y2K. I can guarantee you that. It was a blown fuse down here.
All right.
It's 48 degrees down here on the field of the Fiesta Bowl. A crowd of around 73,000 starting to file in. Nebraska has taken the field. Tennessee's been on the field for about a half hour warming up. There's a lot of excitement going on. People have waited a long time for this game to be played. And we will have more on our Fiesta Bowl pregame show right after this break. Getting ready for this ball game. The road to Tempe started back on the first Saturday in September when the Huskers traveled to Iowa. It was the first meeting between the two schools in 17 years. The fifth-ranked Huskers opened the season at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, where Nebraska faced the Hawkeyes for the first time since 1982. Bobby Newcomb started the game at quarterback, but it was his backup, Eric Crouch, who scored the Huskers' first touchdown of the year on this 28-yard run in the second quarter. The Nebraska defense shut down the Hawkeyes' offense. The Blackshirts only allowed the Hawks 83 yards rushing and 169 total yards. In the third quarter, Newcomb went to the air and found wingback Sean Applegate on a 47-yard pass to put Nebraska up 14-0. The Huskers added 4 more touchdowns, including this 21-yard run by Crouch, who flattened Iowa cornerback Michael Brown and went into the end zone. The Huskers finished with 543 yards in total offense to win their season opener 42-7 over Iowa. Nebraska's home opener was against California before a record crowd at Memorial Stadium. The Husker defense set the tone early. They forced Cal to lose yardage on their first 3 possessions. Dan Haydenfeld proved he could handle the punting duties. The Husker senior booted out of the end zone and unleashed a 73-yard punt that went all the way back to the 23 of the Bears. Newcomb put the Huskers on the scoreboard in the first quarter when he ran in from 12 yards out to make it 7-0. But in the second quarter, Eric Crouch took over at quarterback and put on a show. He passed 70 yards to his tight end, Tracy Wistrom, for a touchdown. Then right before halftime, Newcomb threw a quick pass to Crouch, and the Husker sophomore raced 60 yards to the end zone. Nebraska led 28-0 at halftime. Crouch accounted for 4 touchdowns in the game as Nebraska rolled to a 45-0 win over California. The Nebraska-Southern Mississippi game marked a change at quarterback. After 2 impressive games, Crouch was named the starting quarterback, while Newcomb was moved to wingback. However, it was the Nebraska defense that stole the spotlight on this September afternoon. Kyle Vanden Bosch forced a fumble, and Julius Jackson scooped it up for a touchdown. The Husker offense could manage only 1 touchdown on this 8-yard run by Willie Miller to give Nebraska a 12-7 lead at halftime. In the third quarter, the Golden Eagles took the lead when Jeff Kelly passed to Sean Gideon to put Southern Mississippi up 13-12. But Nebraska came back on another key play by the Blackshirts. Keo Craver tipped a pass, and Jackson caught it and ran 28 yards for the winning touchdown. The Huskers escaped with a 20-13 win over Southern Miss. Nebraska opened the Big 12 conference season in Columbia, facing the Missouri Tigers. Less than 2 minutes into the game, Nebraska got on the scoreboard when Missouri snapped the ball over the punter's head for a safety. The Husker offense put it all together. Crouch passed 7 yards to Matt Davison for a touchdown to make it 9-0. After an interception by the Blackshirts, Crouch added another touchdown when he ran 31 yards. Nebraska led 19-3 at the half. Bobby Newcomb scored his first touchdown as a receiver in the third quarter when Crouch threw a 53-yard bomb to the end zone. Nebraska led 26-3. Correll Buchalter had one of his best games of the season, rushing for 132 yards and 1 score. Nebraska did not need a miracle this time as they beat Missouri 40-10. The Huskers returned to Lincoln to face the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. Nebraska got off to a fast start. Crouch engineered a 51-yard touchdown drive on Nebraska's opening possession of the game. The passing tandem of Crouch to Wistrom was hot all day. They teamed up 4 times for 116 yards and a touchdown. Correll Buchalter scored 2 touchdowns in the second quarter to put Nebraska up 31-0 at halftime. The Husker defense had another strong game. They recorded 9 tackles for losses. Nebraska raised its record to 6-0 with a 38-14 win over Oklahoma State. The homecoming game matched Nebraska against Iowa State on a Saturday night. The Husker defense struck right away. Joe Walker forced a fumble and recovered the ball at the Cyclones' 39-yard line. 7 plays later, Dan Alexander busted in from 7 yards out to give Nebraska the lead for good. On Iowa State's second possession, Randy Stella blocked a punt in the end zone, and Ralph Brown recovered for a touchdown. Then Nebraska added its 3rd touchdown of the first quarter when Crouch passed 47 yards to Davison. Nebraska led 21-0 after 1 period. For the first time in 2 years, the Huskers had 2 100-yard rushers. Alexander and Buchalter combined for 262 yards in the game. The Husker defense scored again when Walker forced another fumble and Des Moines Adams scooped it up for a score. The Huskers remain undefeated with a 49-14 win over Iowa State. After a week off, Third-ranked Nebraska traveled to Austin for a showdown with 18th-ranked Texas. The game was tied 3-all in the second quarter when the Huskers used a flea flicker pass from Newcomb to Davison for a gain of 33 yards down to the 21 of Texas. That set up a 32-yard field goal from Josh Brown to put Nebraska in the lead 6-3. Then, right before half, Buckhalter ran in from 5 yards out for a score. Nebraska led 13-3 at intermission. But in the third quarter, the Texas offense came to life. The Longhorns scored a pair of touchdowns to go up 17-13. Nebraska countered with a 75-yard drive, but came up empty when Buckhalter fumbled 1 yard from the end zone. The Huskers suffered 3 turnovers in the game. Nebraska rallied later in the fourth quarter with a 9-yard touchdown run by Crouch to put the Huskers back in front 20-17. Then, with under 6 minutes left in the game, Major Applewhite hit his tight end Mike Jones, and he rambled 17 yards for the winning score. For the third straight time, Texas beat Nebraska 24-20. It was a bitter loss for the Huskers, especially since Nebraska outgained Texas in nearly every category except turnovers. Coming up, the Huskers rebound and march to the Big 12 championship. Their season when a team needs to reach down in its heart to win a football game. The turning point for the Huskers came October 30th in Lawrence, Kansas. Ross Sternstrom looks at the pivotal game with the Jayhawks.
The Huskers were banged up after their loss to Texas and came out flat against a fired-up team from Kansas. The Jayhawks shut out Nebraska to take a 9-0 lead at halftime. It proved to be the turning point of the season.
I was a little concerned, but I don't think our players were concerned. I think they felt that there was going to be nothing that was going to deter them from having a great season. Now, I will say this, it took them a little bit of time to respond after that loss, and it wasn't until really the second half of the Kansas game that really, when we were faced with that situation as we were faced with it, that they ended up responding and just doing a great job to pull that one out.
The Huskers took the lead in the third quarter when Bobby Newcomb fielded a punt on his own 14-yard line and found an opening. Newcomb raced down the far sidelines 86 yards for a touchdown to put Nebraska in front for the first time in the game, 10-9.
And it did turn things around for that game. We were still struggling and a little down from the Texas loss, so that carried over into that game a little bit, especially in the first half. But once we got over that hump and we realized that we can't just go into a game thinking we're going to win just because this is this team, we started playing a lot better football.
After Kansas tied the game up in the fourth quarter, Eric Crouch found Newcomb open for the winning touchdown. The 24-17 victory put the Huskers back on track for the conference title.
As I look at it, that was somewhat of a turning point for us, getting that one done in the manner that they got it done, to be able to allow this team to move forward and put them where they are at today in the BCS Bowl.
Ross Sternstrom, Channel 6 Sports.
After the win over Kansas, the Huskers entered the most difficult needed wins over Texas A&M, Kansas State, and Colorado to make it to the Big 12 championship game. The Huskers returned to Memorial Stadium for a key game against then 18th-ranked Texas A&M. The game served as a showcase for Husker Roverback Mike Brown. He caused a fumble and intercepted a pass in the first quarter to give Nebraska a 6-0 lead. The Husker defense made a statement. Steve Warren accounted for 3 of Nebraska's 8 quarterback sacks in the contest. The Blackshirts also had 4 interceptions, including this one by Ralph Brown, who returned it 31 yards down to the 2 of the Aggies. Nebraska scored a touchdown to go up 23-0 at halftime. The longest run of the season by Crouch came in the third quarter when he broke loose on this 62-yard jaunt down to the 18 of Texas A&M. Nebraska added 2 more touchdowns and shut the Aggies out 37-0. The Huskers had plenty of momentum heading into their showdown with 5th-ranked Kansas State at Memorial Stadium. In the first quarter, Crouch surprised the Wildcats when he raced out of the shotgun and went 30 yards for a touchdown to put Nebraska in the lead 7-0. Less than 2 minutes later, Randy Stella broke through and blocked a punt out of the end zone for a safety. The Husker offense overcame 6 fumbles in the first half as Crouch rushed for 124 of his 158 yards in the game. Nebraska's Frankie London added a 2-point conversion when he did a handspring into the end zone to give Nebraska a 24-9 lead at the half. In the fourth quarter, redshirt freshman Darren Diedrich came off the bench and broke free on a 46-yard run for a touchdown to make it 34-9. The Husker defense added another score when Eric Johnson returned a fumble 15 yards for a touchdown. Nebraska took control of the Big 12 North Division race with a 41-15 win over Kansas State. The Huskers wrapped up the regular season in Boulder against the Colorado Buffaloes. Nebraska scored on the very first play of the game when Dan Alexander took a pitch out and went 50 yards down the sidelines for the score to make it 7-0. The junior I-back scored 2 more times. In the second quarter, he busted up the middle and outran Colorado's Ben Kelly for an 80-yard touchdown. That was the longest run of the season by a Husker. Nebraska led 24-3 at the half. But in the fourth quarter, the Buffs staged a spectacular comeback by scoring 24 points. Quarterback Mike Machete threw 3 touchdown passes to tie the game up at 27-all. Colorado's Jeremy Aldrich missed a chance to win the game when his field goal attempt sailed wide right in the final seconds. The game went into overtime. After Colorado kicked a field goal in the extra period, Nebraska took just 5 plays to score a touchdown. Alexander's 11-yard run gave Nebraska the ball at the 1. Then Crouch scored the winning touchdown when he dove over the goal line. The Huskers win the North Division title as they escape Boulder with a dramatic 33-30 overtime win. Nebraska traveled to San Antonio for the Big 12 championship game in a rematch against Texas at the Alamo Dome. The Huskers got off to a quick start. On 4th and 1, Crouch broke over the right side 31 yards for a touchdown to give the Huskers a 10-0 lead. In the second quarter, the Husker defense came up with a big play when Tony Ortiz intercepted a pass and returned it to the 11-yard line of Texas to set up a field goal by Josh Brown. Then the Longhorns snapped the ball out of the end zone for Nebraska's 3rd safety of the season. The Huskers led 15-0 at halftime. In the third quarter, Correll Buckhalter came up with the longest run of the day on this 55-yard sprint. He was caught from behind at the Texas 3-yard line. Crouch ran it in for a touchdown from 4 yards out to make it 22-0. The Husker defense held the Longhorns' potent offense scoreless in the game. Texas could only manage 178 yards. Nebraska won the Big 12 championship with a 22-6 win over the Longhorns and earned the Huskers a ticket to the Fiesta Bowl in Tempe, Arizona. What a sweet victory for the Huskers that was. Nebraska became the first school to win 2 Big 12 championships. Still to come on our Fiesta Bowl pregame show, a look at the Big Red fans who traveled down here to Arizona.
Y2K fears wouldn't keep them away, nor ticket prices of $75 to $125 a seat. Husker fans are following their team to the Fiesta Bowl, but many won't travel far.
Go Big Red! Go Big Red!
More than 700 native Nebraskans belong to the Cornhusker Club of Sun City, the retirement community near Phoenix.
We start off with the Sun City West Parade, in which we deck all our golf carts out, and we have about 12 of them. And
while these Husker fans stay in Arizona year-round, these Husker fans enjoy the lifestyle only a few days.
Go Nebraska!
Several bowl tours have been arriving in Phoenix. This one, sponsored by the Nebraska Alumni Association, brought 175 Big Red fans for a 3-day tour.
It's your first bowl tour? No,
Among the sights, the huge New Year's Eve block party in downtown Tempe. Fireworks from Sun Devil Mountain announced the new year. And New Year's Day wasn't a day of rest for these Husker fans. The official gathering spot for Arizonans for Nebraska hosted a pep rally. And some unknown Big Red fans are carrying their spirit to new heights. The Arizona State yellow A on the mountain overlooking the stadium has been painted red.
Mike McKnight has admitted to me that he painted it red.
No, I won't take that one. But I'll tell you, Dave, just looking around the stadium now as the Husker fans are starting to come in, I would guess about 3/4 red, you think?
Yeah.
So I think the Huskers are going to really have some pull tonight with the fans, huh?
This is easily the most popular of all the bowl destinations for the Huskers. Most of the Big Red fans are going to be on the east side of the stadium where Nebraska's bench will be located. If you ever wondered what it's like being on the sidelines during a Husker game, it's pretty scary. But earlier this season, we put a microphone on Nebraska receivers coach Ron Brown for the Iowa State game. Let's take a listen.
Make the tough catches. Hey, beautiful route. Beautiful route. Check, 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 check. Let's see if we can spring. I think we have a chance to spring some of the running backs on inside runs all the way. So let's get everybody knocked down, all right? Time out! Time out! Time out! Time out!
Ron Brown is one of the most animated coaches on the Nebraska sidelines. For 13 seasons, Brown has coached the Husker receivers. Every game you can see Brown next to the head coach, Frank Solich, where his personality stands out on the sidelines.
Yeah, I think you have to be yourself, you know, and not a carbon copy of someone else. And I tend to be, probably somewhat high energy anyhow, and so that probably does come out. No! Wilson, the other way! Tight!
On every Nebraska possession, Brown can always be seen giving hand signals to the Husker huddle. Communication from the sidelines is critical.
Football's a lot like baseball. You know, there's so much going on that that the naked eye doesn't normally see. I mean, there's constant communication, and so basically I'm communicating things back and forth to the quarterback and receivers on a regular basis. And obviously the audible voice can't be heard very well on a football field, so hand signals and gestures and so forth are obviously very big.
Get TJ out! No, Tracy, come here. Tracy, come here. Come here. We got Damian and come here. We got those two guys in the game.
Sideline communication is a key responsibility during the game for Brown, who has to shuffle in different receivers on every play.
Well, one of my basic roles is to make sure we have the proper people in the ball game, positionally, number of players, etc. So if you see any illegal substitutions or anything like that, calls, then just point the finger at good old Ron Brown.
I mean, we should not have two people going in. And I roughed him up a little bit on the sideline, but really I should get after you too. Both of you guys and every one of you going in the game, know what's going in. We don't want that anymore, all right? Okay.
After every offensive series, Brown gathers his group of receivers on the bench to find out what adjustments might work the next time Nebraska has the ball.
We're talking a lot about what has just taken place that last series. We're talking about some of the things that they've seen. I want to hear from them. I really want some input from them during the course of the game as to, for example, the tight ends. Are they shaded on your inside? Are they the rush end head up to you? Is he on your outside shade? What happens when the ball is snapped? Where is he going? I asked those wide receivers a little bit about the coverage contour. Can you beat a guy one-on-one?
Bobby, where was the sandbacker? Was he out on you a little bit?
He was inside of me.
He was inside of you? The safety was off? Yeah. Did you run the hook?
Those adjustments can sometimes turn into touchdowns, like this pass from Eric Crouch to Bobby Newcomb in the third quarter against Iowa State.
Bobby Newcomb against Iowa State told me right before the half, Coach, I can beat that guy one-on-one on a flag route. They're playing press. I can get released by him and run the good flag route and for a big play. And then he brought it up again at halftime to Coach Solich. Coach Solich early in the third quarter made the call. Sure enough, they had press coverage. Bobby did exactly what he said he was going to do. It's not that he's Muhammad Ali or Babe Ruth or anything, but he called it and got it done.
He's got him. He's got him. He's got him. He's got him. He called it. He called it. Hey, you called a nice play, buddy. You called a nice play. Good job, Bobby.
6 Sports.
Ron Brown's looking for a big game from his receivers tonight, especially Bobby Newcomb. Still to come on our Fiesta Bowl pregame show, a look at the Tennessee defense.
Bet you didn't know.
They're throwing footballs right behind me here. The biggest challenge facing the Husker offense tonight, whether Nebraska can run the ball against Tennessee. The Vols defense ranks among the nation's best. We hear more from Ross Jernstrom.
The Tennessee defense is led by All-American linebacker Raynoch Thompson. Number 46 is the main reason the Vols only give up 89 yards on the ground. Thompson is looking forward to stopping the Husker rushing game.
It just makes me more happier that I can get after a team that wants to run the ball more, to say we have a good rushing defense. It just astounds me to see they want to come here and run the ball, but it's gonna be fun to see what's gonna break. They have a good rushing offense, we have a good rushing defense. Something gonna give.
While Thompson anchors the defense against the run, All-American safety Deion Grant defends the pass. He led the nation with 9 interceptions this season. But Grant knows he will have to respect the option game of Nebraska.
Nebraska, I mean, they perfect the option. They run the option 24/7. That's their backbone, I mean. So I can't say that we faced the team as far as preparing for Nebraska because they do it so well.
I'm kind of loving the option. The quarterback run, he turned into another back, but you know, you get the lick in your chops saying a quarterback want to run the ball, as opposed early in the season quarterbacks running away from him. But it's going to be truly special come Sunday to see how it turns out.
All this talk from the Tennessee players about stopping Nebraska's option game has the Husker offensive line ready to play.
They have said some comments, you know, that, I mean, that's probably going to get all of our teammates fired up, you know, I mean, just saying that we can't stop the run. I mean, we can't run the ball on them. You know, they're more physical this year. I mean, we're going to find out. You know, who's more physical. I mean, that I'll just let the action decide on game day.
2 years ago in the Orange Bowl, Nebraska broke the game open against Tennessee by running off tackle in the second half. Look for the Huskers to test the Volunteers up front again tonight. Ross Jernstrom, Channel 6 Sports.
The Husker defense will be out to prove which team has the better defense tonight. Here's a look at the matchup between Nebraska's defense and Tennessee's offense.
The Fiesta Bowl could be the crowning moment for one of the greatest seasons by a Nebraska defense. The Black Shirts rank among the nation's best in all major categories. Husker pride will be on the line tonight in Tempe.
See, we want to end the season the same way that we began the season, the same way that we've played the whole the last part of the season, and it's going to be big for us, especially for our seniors. You know, we want to have great closures to our careers, so we need to go out. We want to go out here and not let them score, and go out there and put the pressure on them and just give the crowd a great show.
Tennessee will test the Husker defense against the run. The Vols led the Southeastern Conference in rushing behind the play of Travis Henry and Jamal Lewis.
You watch the film and things like that. I don't think they're as good as the defense in the '98 bowl game. Nah, I don't think so. But they're pretty good. You know, they're respectable, and you know, I just want to go out and just do my thing and just give 100%.
Both teams match up well in the trenches, but the question remains: can the Vols move the ball consistently against the Black Shirts?
This defense is, if everybody, you know, wants to make the play and everybody's out there, you know, pursuing 100%, and you know, that's what makes this defense great, I think, is just the attitude we bring to the field every game. We know that we can't be beat.
We have a lot of seniors on this defense, and we've been playing together for a long time. I think that's one thing that's really helped us out. We've got to kind of gelled together, and really the chemistry is great, and I think that's one thing that's made us pretty strong.
It's going to be tough. You know, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a four-quarter battle, and we're going to be a lot of banging. We got to get on top early, and we got to put them away fast to win this game.
Still to come on our Fiesta Bowl preview, we'll look at the quarterbacks for both teams.
The Tennessee quarterback owns a record of 22-2 as a starter over the past 2 years. His experience could give him an edge in the Fiesta Bowl.
I think about me being in this stadium and, you know, playing in a caliber game like this, I may have an advantage, but you never can tell. He's probably a mature quarterback, and he may come in and handle the situation well.
Martin was named the top quarterback in the Southeastern Conference after throwing for over 2,000 yards this season. But he has also been a big threat to run. He led the Vols with 9 rushing touchdowns.
And pretty much I know before the play when I'm going to run. You know, you go to the line as a quarterback and you have 3 plans. You know, and plan A doesn't work, plan B, and plan C for me is just to run. I try to make something happen outside of the pocket. But I don't just go into the game, you know, knowing that I'm going to run. It's just like sometimes it surprises me, you know, the opportunities that defenses allow me to have. And sometimes they don't, some teams don't give it to me and I don't run, you know, so.
Martin has thrown 9 interceptions this season, but he's not been picked off in his last 82 pass attempts. He knows he faces a big challenge against Nebraska's secondary.
That's one of their strengths, you know, is to play man coverage and bump. You know, there's some physical guys that can also run with the receivers downfield. But as I've been watching film study, you know, some teams make plays, and that's the game we play today. You know, you get recruited. These guys are fast. Everybody's strong. It just comes down to making plays now. And when they give us the opportunity to go deep and throw fades against them, you know, our guys have high vertical jumps, and you know, we're just gonna go man to man and see who wants the ball.
Martin may have more experience than Nebraska's Eric Crouch, but the Husker sophomore is ready to prove he can lead Nebraska to a win in a bowl game.
What a difference a year makes for Eric Crouch. Last year, Crouch was an inexperienced quarterback playing in his first bowl game. This time, Crouch leads the nation's quarterbacks in rushing touchdowns and was ranked second among quarterbacks in rushing with nearly 900 yards. This time, Crouch is loaded with confidence.
Yeah, well, last year was my first game, and there's a lot of things that I learned. You know, I was really young. I was a freshman on the field, and maybe my confidence wasn't as high as it is this year. And you know, I feel a lot more comfortable and relaxed this year, and you know, I think that makes a difference when you're out there on the field and you're making plays and you feel more comfortable in an offense and the people that you're surrounded by.
The Tennessee defense has targeted Crouch as the way to stop Nebraska's offense. It's a role number 7 is used to.
You know, I heard that from a lot of teams, and you know, I plan on that game plan from defenses. So, you know, I got to be ready to go, and I feel healthy right now. And it's kind of amazing all year. I've taken a lot of hits, and I've been able to feel good coming the next game. And now that, you know, we've had 3.5 weeks of rest, I even feel better. And
the biggest challenge facing Crouch tonight is Tennessee's team speed on defense. The Volunteers' front 7 has been impressive all season.
Just by watching them on film and seeing them play a couple games this year, you look at their defense and you can know right away that, you know, they're one of the best in the country. And they've proved it game after game, and they played so well. And the thing that sticks out about them is that they're so consistent. They've been playing consistent all year long with their speed and the talent that they have, and just their athletic ability overall. And you know, that has to do with their tradition that they've had for so long. And
Crouch has been bothered by a bad shoulder most of the season. If he can stay healthy in the Fiesta Bowl tonight, look for the Husker quarterback to have a big game against Tennessee. Ross Sternstrom, Channel 6 Sports.
Eric Crouch rushed for almost 500 yards in last 4 games. Look for number 7 to be a factor tonight. Coming up, we'll hear from both head coaches, Nebraska and Tennessee.
I think both teams have big playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I believe both teams will probably approach the game the same way in that both teams will try to control the football. And I think the team that maybe does the best job of that, keeping their offense on the field, trying to wear down the opponent's defense, is probably going to have a little bit of an edge in the game.
I do understand what a great challenge it is playing against Nebraska, who probably right now is playing as well as anybody in the country on both sides of the ball, particularly trying to manage Eric Crouch and their offense is not easy.
I think this team loves the game of football. They've displayed that in how they've played throughout the course of the season. They are really delighted about being here at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. And so this is a very big game for our football team, and our team sees it that way. And I know that Tennessee sees it that way. You could tell by the comments in the paper. And so I think it'll be a very hard-hitting football game, and one that both teams are excited about playing.
Both teams have big play potential. Theirs from their quarterback running or throwing play-action pass, and or their tailback, for that matter. Ours from our tailback, quarterback scrambling to some extent, but also from the passing game. Both teams are very aggressive defensively, and both teams have big play potential in the kicking game. Newcomb is about as good as I've seen.
To me, it looks like basically an evenly matched game, and when that's the case, the special teams generally plays a major role, and I think that will have a bearing on the outcome of this game.
It's the two most recent national champions playing each other, and all that together makes it for a very exciting game. Both teams have a lot of really good players on both sides of the ball playing for their teams. Both teams have been high-profile teams nationally.
You know, having a program that's basically tried to do the same thing year after year after year, in discipline, in philosophy, and I think probably pays dividends too. But the players on your football team, their attitude and their approach determines an awful lot as to how things are going to play out.
Coach Solich will be looking for his first bowl win as head coach. Coach Fulmer trying to win his 6th bowl game in the last 8 years. Still to come, the Huskers look to finish on top. Ready to go out on the field. Still a lot riding on this Fiesta Bowl, even though it's not a national title. A victory would give Nebraska a #2 national rating and momentum going into next season.
I want to send Coach Solich out a winner. I think he deserves to be 12-1. I think these younger guys on the team deserve a boost in the next year. And basically, I just want to have a lot of fun and make it, because you know you're going to remember your last game, and I don't want it to be a loss. I want it to be a victory. So just go out there and try my best.
You know, this can be a good stepping stone to try to set us up for next year, and I don't think we can help but look at that a little bit, but also know that this is this season, and we need to take care of business now so we finish as high as we possibly can.
We want to go out, set a statement for next year as well. We don't want to just win this game. We want to make sure that we end the season off in a big way and start off next year off in a big way as well, so we can go into next season preparing to be national championships and more.
Some people still aren't quite convinced how good a team we really are. And I think if we really have a good game against Tennessee, you know, it'll propel us into next season as far as, you know, people looking for big things and, you know, us looking for big things and knowing that we're going to get the job done.
Well, it's very important to finish off this year on a good note. And by doing so, it's a good opportunity for us next year to put us in a good position. And I know that, you know, that's kind of in the back of your mind. You're thinking about it, and you know, you're not thinking about it a lot, but it's there, and you know, it's just a good stepping stone for this team to go out next year, you know, being in a good position, you know, if we can come out on top on this game.
The motivation really is our seniors. I mean, last year we didn't get it done our last game, and you know, we sent them out on the wrong note. This year, you know, we want to send our seniors off right, you know, for whatever they do, if they go to the league or if they go, you know, whatever they choose to go. We want them to go out winners, so that's what our motivation is.
We'll be back to wrap things up here at the Fiesta Bowl right after this break.